early this morning, we saw this Starbucks location open up as usual at 4:30 a.m. What is not usual is a picket line blocking the drive-thru at this store as baristas start to strike.
If this tweet from Zohran Mamdani, the incoming mayor of New York City, if this tweet does not scare the living blank out of you, then my friend, I would ask you to wake up. Starbucks workers across the country are on an unfair labor practices strike, fighting for a fair contract. While workers are on strike, I won't be buying any Starbucks, and I'm asking you to join us. Together, we can send a powerful message. No contract, no coffee. Guys, Zohran Mamdani is not even in office yet. He's already bringing back cancel culture, a mayor's job that's here to support and promote businesses. He's the first in line calling for their boycott. Unbelievable.
This store unionized in 2022. And my previous store that I was at also unionized in 2022, and we still don't have a contract.
It's being called the Red Cup Rebellion. Starbucks unionized baristas are on strike, demanding better pay, better hours and staffing, and rallying against what they say are labor violations. Workers United says Starbucks has not offered a contract they believe is close to what they're asking for, so they're taking to the picket line. The strike is happening at more than 65 stores in roughly more than 40 cities across the country.
It's hard to get more than 19 hours a week.
They're not going to see me behind the bar. They're not going to see me in the drive-thru. They're going to see me on the picket line.
Now, I don't want to sound mean, but you guys are baristas, right? You're basically just making coffee, something anybody can do. You guys are not a group of scientists working together to cure cancer. No, you guys are just selling coffee.
So what we're asking for is pretty simple and basic. We want enough hours to meet the benefits. We want enough staffing in our stores so we're not overworked, and we want to be paid enough to live in this city. I
looked up the requirements to work at Starbucks in New York City. You certainly do not need a college degree, of course not. You do not even need a high school diploma. The only thing you need to be in order to work at Starbucks in New York City is 16 years of age. Now, let's be real, guys. For a job, the only thing they require is for you to be 16 years old. How can you say you expect this job to give you a livable wage in one of the most expensive places in the world, New York City?
Early last week, 92% of Starbucks unionized workers voted for this strike.
I'm a supervisor at this location, at this Starbucks, and right now, Starbucks workers are on an unfair labor practice strike because Starbucks has refused to come back and negotiate for our first contract, and they have still yet to resolve hundreds of unfair labor practice charges against the company.
Do you feel you're making an impact at this store and the one on Willamette Street?
Definitely 100%. This store is a very busy store, and we get a lot of customers coming through from the highway, and we're right next to the University of Oregon. We have a lot of people who come to this store, and it's very visible, so a lot of people see what we're doing, and 29th as well. And so I think we are making an economic difference, yeah.
And briefly, what are you asking for just generally in wage increases and what you want?
Yeah, we just want to bring more money to the table for us. We want a higher wage raise than what they are offering us, which we find to not be adequate for matching cost of living prices and inflation in many other places. I have lots of barista friends who are in like Chicago and New York City and Seattle who have to have 2 to 3 jobs to get by to make rent, and we should not be working 90 hours a week to be able to live.
Me, as someone that enjoys my coffee every day, let me give a piece of advice to all the baristas out there. The fastest way to get a raise is not to strike against those companies, no. If you believe you are worth a raise and your current company does not want to give it to you, take your talent somewhere else. It is that simple. And if you cannot find another company willing to pay you more, that probably means whatever you are getting paid now, that's what you're worth, I'm sorry to say. But the good news is you can learn some new sets of skills, learn a second language, learn how to code, learn how to dance. So now when you are making coffee, you are also dancing, and the clients, they are happy, you're making them smile, they are willing to give you a little bit more tip, whatever it is. But the idea for you to demand a raise when you are not really worth it, This is entitlement.
A self-described socialist winning the mayor's race in one of America's biggest cities. And I'm not talking about Zohran Mamdani in New York City. Katie Wilson is a political outsider and was just elected, just becoming mayor-elect of Seattle, beating the incumbent there by a razor-thin margin. So we're just getting the results now. And Wilson did not shy away from the socialist label during the campaign, saying in part, quote, "Yes, I am a socialist. I'm fine with being called a socialist." And as these headlines show, her victory creating shockwaves on the right, Fox News, Newsmax, Washington Examiner, all quick to call her a socialist, obviously, from their perspective, a very negative thing. Mayor-elect Katie Wilson is now out front for her first national interview since winning the race. And Mayor-elect, I really appreciate your time. Here in New York, we heard a lot from the Mayor-elect here, Zohran Mamdani, right? When you talk about affordability. But the word echoes don't end there, Mayor-elect. Let me play some of them.
The very clear twin crises of affordability.
We are facing an affordability crisis.
Truly affordable homes.
Affordable homeownership.
This city is your city.
This isn't their city, it's yours.
A new generation of leadership.
We can see with our own eyes that we need new leadership.
These clips prove that the Democrats, they have a playbook. They know exactly what the people want to hear, and they repeat those same things.
I mean, we sometimes will put what we call a montage together like that, Mayor-elect. It doesn't get easier than that one. I mean, it really does sound, you sound so much alike. I guess I'm just curious, have you ever met him? Have you talked to each other at all since either of your victories, which are so important on coast to coast?
Not yet, although I certainly hope to.
So I want to ask you one other thing, because you sit here as a mayor-elect. You're in your early 40s. You've accomplished so much at such a young age. And in that context, you have been open about the fact that you have done that with your parents' help, that your parents who live across the country have sent you checks to help pay for your toddler's childcare, right? That with all the things that you've accomplished, when it comes to affordability, that you still needed that. Now, Fox News and the New York Post have framed that in a negative light. They have said, Mayor-elect, that you are, quote unquote, living off your parents' money.
Of course, just as expected, these people pushing socialist ideologies on the American people, they all have one thing in common. They all come from rich parents, just like Zohran Mamdani. These people, they do not understand what it means to work hard. They don't understand what it means to be behind on your rent. They don't know what it means to have debt collectors calling your phone at 2 in the morning. But they want us to embrace socialism. Now, I may get in trouble for this. I don't care. If you were born in America and you are 40 years old, you still need your parents to help you take care of your basic responsibilities. It is not because of the economy. It is not because of bad government. It is your fault. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it is a great thing if you have your parents here that are able to help you when you need it. That's why we work hard for, so we can help the people we love, right? But that's totally fine. The only issue I have is when you come in as a 40-year-old and blaming the government and the economy on your bad decisions. That's where I'm like, no, we're not going to accept that. As always, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, let me know what you think as I continue to bring more, but most importantly, better content and call out all these nonsense from the lunatic left we are here upholding and promotive conservative values, because this is what we believe in. God, family, country. Repeat after me. God, family, country. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.